My view on political marketing is that it's mostly about personal marketing. I was about 16 years old, and I was really irritated about the way Dutch society was going. We started to think like, hey, why is nobody listening to us as young people? But we were nothing, and actually it was just in the name, which was good, and that made why everybody started believing us.
Political Branding and Marketing by Ellen Vandermeer and Dylan Davies. Before we can discuss the reasons why politicians market themselves and how a political party becomes a political brand, we must ask ourselves two questions. Are political parties brands? And can we apply product marketing strategies to political parties? During the past years, branding has emerged more and more, even in organizations where you wouldn't expect it at first. Organizations such as universities, the Roman Catholic Church, and the London Metropolitan Police. According to Keller and his article Branding and Brand Equity from 2002, branding principles have been applied in virtually every setting where consumer choice of some kind is involved. For example, with people, organizations, or ideas, which fit politicians, parties, and together they convey ideas. But what is the definition of a brand, and does that fit a political party?
Now, when you would compare business to political parties, then every business person would laugh them completely out. They're just yelling and screaming, and because that in the short term that works. From the other hand, you can see a political party as a brand. I'm sure of that, and it's our big brands because they know how to get attention, and they don't have a vision, and that's I think maybe one of the biggest problems why also people don't take them seriously, because every time there comes a new one and it changes, and parties should have much more really a long-term vision. Where do we want to go, and where do we? It doesn't stop after 4 years.
A brand is defined as a name, term, sign, symbol, or design, or a combination of them, which is intended to identify the goods or services of one seller or group of sellers and to differentiate them from those of competitors, according to the American Marketing Association. Accordingly, the definition suits a political party. So, can we apply product marketing strategies to political parties?
Imagine, for instance, like when you would compare it to the business life, when a Coca-Cola, for instance, would just present their 4-year plans or even shorter, and they don't have any idea where they want to go in the end. When you have a long-term strategy, you know where to go, and you know the guidelines, and you can make your own roadmap, your own strategy to reach there. And that's the problem also with political parties. They don't have that. So issue handling is easy when you have a long-term strategy and a long-term vision. You can just say, hey, I have this issue, I looked at it to this vision, and does it fit in it? No, okay, we don't do it, yes, we go for it.
There is a debate about whether or not the impact of using marketing methods in order to gain voter support is beneficial to the democratic and social system. Although the potential negative impact is an important point, we need to move on. According to Aaron O'Cass, Chair of Marketing at the Newcastle Graduate School of Business, it appears more pertinent to pursue party capability development and value creation and delivery. When studying branding in politics, we come across an important point, namely that there are two different ways of analyzing brands. One way is to look at brand management, the other focuses on a consumer perspective. Analyzing brand management leads to criticism when applied to political brands. When one transfers from one market to another, one needs to respect the differences in brand management, as for market A is not market B. However, from a consumer perspective, there are many similarities between a product and a political brand. We find that consumers have an innate motivation to learn and decide about brands, both to know where and where not to spend money, and how to cope with and filter information in an increasingly connected world. However, using both approaches offers parties a way to increase their performance, help to understand their development, and how to maintain their competitive advantages. Evidently, campaigns that use methods learned from marketing have a clear advantage in the fierce competition of political campaigns.
Why would you go into politics if you cannot explain first to your friends where you're fighting for? And that's also, I think, something which voters are seeing, and why the message is also not clear. And that's also the only reason why the screaming is working, because they don't have the long-term visions, and there's nobody who has it. If I was a politician party, I would focus much more on how can I be in the media, how can I get my own programs, that kind of stuff. And the only thing how that works is you should do business. You should think out business models for that. And that's also, I think, a big problem now with politicians is they only listen, or they only want to send, but they not listen. And that's I think something which, if you're gonna start in politics, let be your first 10 years just listen to other people and really listen because you're interested.
Let's dance, little stray.